All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Out of This World podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Ha, and to get this podcast, you can listen to it at any given time. If you missed the live show, anywhere on podcast platforms such as Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, Amazon, iHeartRadio. Guys, we are trying to go live every Thursday night between 8 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And as you can see here on the screen, we cover pretty much every topic there is under the kitchen sink. If these topics interest you, you might be interested in all the unique guests I try to get every week. I have some amazing guests every now and then, and some educational guests, and some really interesting topics. So tune in every week. Please subscribe. Click that little bell, top right corner of the screen. Guys, before we introduce this amazing guest that we have tonight, I'm a huge fan of hers, so before we give her a nice big introduction, I'm sure you guys heard about what happened with paranormal investigator Dan Rivera. He was with NESPR, New England Society for Psychic Research. It's been all over the news. God rest his soul. He was the lead investigator for them. They were doing a tour, and there was just a sudden passing of his. Nobody has any explanation whatsoever so far. They're working on the investigation. But just real quick, guys, I'd like to just please let's give a moment of silence for Dan out of respect of, I didn't know him personally, but I did speak to him many years ago, so I just thought it'd be nice. Just let's bow our heads and do a little prayer, a couple of seconds of prayer for Dan Rivera. Just bow our heads and, give him a couple of seconds. Okay. We'll leave it there. God rest in peace, Dan. He was doing a tour with Annabelle, and so I'll leave it there. So there's no debate whatsoever as to how it happened, why it happened. Just out of respect for him and his family and close friends, we're just gonna leave it there. So we're gonna go ahead and introduce this awesome guest that I have here tonight. I'm excited because I love Ghost Adventures. I love the crew. I've had Jamie Wolf and Exorcist Bishop Brian Ouellette. I've interviewed them in the past. They're a bunch of fun people. Everybody on Ghost Adventures, just a fun crew all around, really great people to work with. So I want to introduce psychic medium Patti Negri. I have her here tonight. Going to give a little background to our audience. She's the Good Witch of Hollywood. Patti Negri is a psychic medium and a good witch, best known for her recurring role on the Discovery Channel top-rated series Ghost Adventures. One of her episodes was part of Discovery Channel's streaming service launch. Her wildly popular television and streaming series appearances have garnered over 1 billion views. The Parapod Awards recognized Patti as the Best Psychic of 2023 and Best Psychic Podcast of 2024. Patti is internationally best-selling author of Old World Magic for the Modern World, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques to Balance, Empower, and Create Life You Love. Patti was voted #1 psychic medium, trance medium, tarot reader, and witch magical practitioner in the world in internationally recognized competition by Times Square Press. Patti's body of work includes appearances such on shows MasterChef, America's Got Talent, and Portals to Hell. Patti hosts her regular podcast, The Witching Hour, and can be heard on nationally syndicated radio with Adam Carolla, Jason Ellis, and Monkau Muller, and Coast to Coast with George Norrie. Patti has collaborated with some of today's hottest creators, influencers, Little Sing, Lore DIY, Phase Rug, Good Mythical Morning, the Sterniolos, and TFIL Overnight. She has graced numerous magazine covers, contributed over 20 books, and conducted seances on radio, film, TV, working legends such as Emma Stone, Josh Duhamel, Martin Sheen, and Gregory Hines. So without further delay, I'm going to go ahead and get her on here. I want to welcome Patti to Out of This World podcast. Patti, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, no, this has been a month in the making. I really appreciate, Patti, you rescheduling with us, because we had to reschedule for, unfortunate circumstances. I had a death in the family, and I really appreciate you rescheduling the interview. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Everything is for timing, I always say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Things happen for a reason. Timing is everything, correct. So, I guess, what... The audience is excited to have you here tonight. Tell the fans and the audience of Out of This World podcast what got you interested in what you do, and how did you know from at a very young age that you had these abilities, psychic medium abilities? Who trained you? Did anybody mentor you? What was your influence? What got you involved?
I've had many mentors and many teachers, and it's been my whole life. I have literally been talking to spirits since I could talk, before kindergarten. I had many friends, and I knew they weren't imaginary friends. I think kids can. I really do think kids we have it all in us, but in our modern, Western, non-mystical, left brain focus society, it just gets taught out of us. And luckily it didn't get taught out of me. My mom always went, yeah, Grandma did that too. Grandma did that too. So by the time I was 13, I really became a seeker, started just try to figure out this gift I have, studying religion and philosophy and science and occult science and metaphysics. And it's just been who I was. I was not my public persona though for years. I'm an LA kid. I was an actor in Hollywood. When I got too old for acting, I became a producer in Hollywood. I ran a production company for 20 years, and this was my private life. My seances, my spirituality, my magic, up until 2008, when that great big corporate crash came, and I created corporate shows. They just became everything crashed and burned. And at the same time, reality television was going up, up, up. And I remember getting a phone call from somebody who knew my ability with seances, the way I lift the veil, and they go, Patti, we really need you to do a seance on this reality show. I'm like, oh no, I'm sorry, that's my private life. I can't. I appreciate the offer, but I just can't. Thank you. Please, no, please, no. And looking at my empty calendar, I'm like, well, what's the name of the show? And literally she goes, well, it's called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television. And I'm like, that's dumb. Who would watch a show called Mobile Home Disaster on country music television? A little did I know everybody. But I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. I don't think anybody I know, I'm not going to mess up my clientele. So I went, and it was like the most fulfilling thing I had done. I got to help a human little girl who everybody thought was crazy because she was drawing portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I'm like, no, there are portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I got to help a spirit who was kind of stuck, crossed over. And equally important, I got to slightly open the minds of the Southern Bible Belt cast and crew that this isn't evil and this isn't dark and this isn't anything negative. So I'm like, this is great, best day ever, but I'm never going to do it again. And when it aired a couple weeks later, or a couple months later, it aired. I'm like, oh, that was fun. You know, I know TV, I know what I'm doing on TV, and I'm legitimate. So, and my very first call was from my biggest corporate client. Hi, Patti. Hi. I saw you on television last night. Oh, yeah. I didn't know you were into the paranormal. Yeah. And then she goes, I'm paranormal, and proceeded to tell her first ghost story. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic medium closet. This is who I am. This was the coolest thing, and I haven't looked back. I mean, I have my production company, don't have time to do anything. I became since I am in Hollywood, I am legit. I do know how to do television. I became the person to call for everything. Paranormal shows, if they needed a psychic, or they needed a medium, or they needed a witch, or they needed a consultant. It just became, it was great. Ghost Adventures came along in 2015. It was supposed to just be one episode, because they were doing a Hollywood episode, and we just hit it off. So he asked me right away to go back to the Black Dahlia house to do a seance, and pretty much 10 years in now, I've done 2 episodes a year for 10 years on Ghost Adventures. Pretty good for a boy show.
Yeah.
I love it. Those are great to work with, all of them.
Yeah, no, they're a fun crew. All you guys are a fun crew. Like I said to the audience earlier, I've actually interviewed Jamie Wolf and exorcist Bishop Brian Ouellette, and they're such great people. Yeah, they're very down to earth, very helpful. They like helping people, and they don't take money either. Like they do it on their own volunteer free time, and they do take on a lot of private home investigations on the side other than doing the show. And I've actually inquired about help from them myself. So I think that you're all great people. Your characters are fun, and your personalities you mesh really well together.
Yeah, yeah. I remember meeting Brian and the whole crew, and it was Daryl and Brian and me. We were like, "Oh my God, what a great little crew this is!" And so we never did anything with it, but we had a blast.
Yeah, and I have to ask, most recent episode that you've been on Ghost Adventures, you guys did you revisited the Winchester house, and I love that house. I love the history, but it had a lot to do with Harry Houdini, the famous magician. They actually had a descendant there, live on the show, and the poem you did, I thought was so wonderful. I thought that poem that you said, during that thing you did there on that episode was that something you wrote, or was that something you discovered?
That was led to me by spirit.
Oh.
And the whole spiritualist age, that's what they did.
Yeah.
For 2 days, I was sitting there scribbling poems. I have a dozen or more than a dozen, probably almost close to 2 dozen, all Houdini. They were just flowing out of me. They played it 1 or 1.5 on the show, but it was wild. That was just completely spirit led.
That's cool.
And I'm a Houdini fan. His relative George, it was amazing. The evidence we got, it was a really fun one.
do you guys definitely feel like that helped facilitated the activity there, like what you guys, because I know like Zach and the guys are really into like the trigger object kind of idea. What can we throw in there? Like they basically try to throw in like the whole kitchen sink to try to to trigger some kind of link or connection to the actual the figures that they're trying to reach out to.
Yes, and George was so cool because he is this kind of magical spiritual guy. He's a meditator. He calls in his ancestors all the time. I remember even on the show him saying, I talk to Harry Houdini all the time. And so I said, what? So he really was a beautiful conduit. So, and again, you guys see 44 minutes on the show.
Yeah.
Days spent there. We did all sorts of magical things in the witch hat room, and musically it was super special.
Yeah, no, definitely. So those who don't know about the Winchester house, one of the odd things about the house is that the original people who lived there, they have these like weird doors, just like, and stairways, just like leading to nowhere, and they end abruptly. And there's a theory that they believe that it was to help confuse the spirits, I think, or like help confuse them and make them confused and not know how to get out, or what was the reason behind that?
Yeah, it was because Sarah Winchester, she was the heir to the Winchester fortune, and
Yep.
she felt guilty about all the people killed, and her psychic had said, it's cursed and you have to keep building and that'll confuse the spirits. So for 39 years, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, she had different contractors who didn't talk to each other.
Wow.
So there's windows in the floor, and with doors in the ceiling, and doors that drop to nothing, and I would still be there if somebody didn't lead me out. I've gotten lost in there a couple of times.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I haven't been there, but it's on my bucket list. When I'm ever out there, I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
try to get there. But what has been as a young, person, you growing up with these abilities and learning, what got you to kind of like get the idea? All right, this is what I want to do. How did you become good at harnessing your ability and doing readings? Like, what got you on that journey?
I think, again, wanting to understand it better. My grandfather was this kind of famous philosopher, psychoanalyst. He was very humanist, very atheist, actually. He studied religion. I've studied everything he studies, but from the back door, where he thought everything was hogwash. I think everything is real and there's a truth under everything. So I'm kind of following in his footsteps, just the opposite door. But with readings, it's part of who I am. But again, I really fought doing it for years and years and years until 2008. I mean, it was my spiritual practice. It was I was known for seances and doing all this stuff.
Right.
But um, and doing readings, but until universe just said you have to do it, we can't stop now. But it's just in me. When I was a little kid growing up in suburban Los Angeles, besides the fact talking to dead people, I'd be in my little backyard picking mint and rosemary and making these concoctions with it and putting it in my mom's wallet, knowing what would bring her more money and knowing stuff.
Yeah.
Just in it. In
Yeah.
my high school, I grew up in the Long Beach area. My high school prom was on the Queen Mary. I snuck away from the prom to
That's
the
awesome.
pool, the little girl spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's just kind of been who I am.
Yeah.
Especially stop fighting it. There's no looking back.
That's
I mean, I
great.
never fought the gift. I just didn't think it was be my career.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been on your social media, and I love all the little videos that you do, like the advice and the tips and things that you do. Like, you can do this, to make this happen, and like all the little witchy kind of the good witchy stuff. Not the bad witch. Even if you were a bad witch, I still love to have you on the show. But yeah, so I love all that stuff. What part of that are you more into? Are you more into the readings, or you love everything about it? What's your most favorite part of? Is it the seances? Because I know you're really into the seances.
My favorite part is that it gets to be different every day.
Mm-hmm.
It is not. I love working one-on-one with clients. I worked with 3 different clients today, one-on-one, just like this, a Zoom call, personally working from the heart. That's great. Then I'll go off and do a house clearing for a movie star house on one day, and then just a little apartment for the neighbor next door, and then you're flying off to film with somebody. I love that every day gets to be different because I like my brain to be stimulated, and really I'm actually a teacher at heart. That's why I do my little things. That's why I started my school 5 years ago, even why I started Paraflix 5 years ago. I like to empower people. I work with people every day. And the one thing that I notice about us beautiful humans is that we give away our power all the time. We give away our power to other people. We give away our power to fear all the time. We give away our power to just limiting belief systems. And my whole thing, really, whether I'm working with my YouTubers or on Ghost Adventures, one-on-one, or I'm doing a seance or teach in class, is to remind people that we can do anything we believe we can do. And I believe that 100%.
Yeah, I believe in that too. I kind of call that karma. Like the karma that we put out, like from our own energies and what energy we put out. What we put out is what you get back. And like you said, so like we can empower anything. So like it's that energy you put out there. So if you're putting out good energy, you're gonna get good energy back. So if you good do things, you good do good deeds, and hopefully those things will come back.
Yeah, and that's karma. That's the law of 3. In witchcraft, it's oversimplification is what you put out, you get back 3 times.
Right.
3
Right.
times, so put out love. So why in the world would I do negative magic? Because besides, because what you put out, you get back. Why would I hex and curse
Yeah.
when you honestly can get everything you want from positive magic? You can get everything you want without having to hurt anything or anybody.
Yeah.
And again, you live in the world you create. I don't want, if I go hex somebody, I live in a world of hexes. So I send them love, and then you live in a world of love. I mean, even look at, like, Zach always did the thing with me and Lady Snake, good witch, bad witch. I really liked Wendy. She just would do magical things that I wouldn't do. But guess what? She's passed away. And I'm not going, oh, it's because she was a bad witch, but everything catches up with you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like, back in the day, in the 1800s, the Fox sisters kind of helped facilitate the spiritual movement in North America. Actually started all the way upstate New York, Lilydale. I know a little bit about the history of the Fox sisters. And they had abilities, and apparently they were communicating with spirit in their house, and, you know, they made games out of it. But then, of course, back then, it was taboo. You know, they thought they were witches and thought they were into bad stuff. And, you know, they thought they were hoaxing things, and, you know, some say that they weren't hoaxing things. So it was like a big controversy back then. And then, of course, like, not long ago, like in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, again, it was taboo. You know, nobody really talked about it that much. But now it's like, you know, like, boom, yeah, like everybody's into the paranormal, everybody's into witchy stuff, and, you know, and it's like, how do you compare it back then to today? What's your thoughts on, like, modern day, like, witch stuff versus back then?
Well, right. I have a big flare. Again, and witchcraft got huge actually in the 50s and stuff, but it was all secret and sneaking around. You know, Wicca was created back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
But what I really think, times are scary. We know that. The world is scary, or we're going to get blown up by China or aliens or whatever your politics. The world has always been scary, but now it's scary 24/7 because we got a cell phone in our hand. And so traditionally, when times are scary, people are fearful, and they would go back to their faith. They would go back to church, go back to temple, and a lot of people have. That's not holding up for a lot of people. It's like, well, I was a Christian, but I'm gay, and the church doesn't really, whatever. So that's why things like all the New Age movement and witchcraft is picking up, because it's like, oh, this is an empowering belief system. Because to me, your belief system, whatever the truth behind it, it's so you can navigate life. It's a roadmap to navigate life. But then there's still people like, I am scared, but I don't want religion, and I don't even want this woo-woo stuff, and I don't want witchcraft, and I don't want New Age, but I want to know that if we get blown up tomorrow, that there's something after this. Those people want to go become paranormal investigators.
Yeah.
They want to go ghost hunt. They want to go, well, I don't want this woo-woo stuff, but let's go on a ghost hunt. And if there's a ghost there, then there's some hope for us if we all get blown up.
Yeah.
Then they go first ghost hunt, and then they discover it's real. It's like, oh, wow, this is real. And then oftentimes they will backdoor their way into a religion or a spirituality that supports them. Or the paranormal becomes their belief system that is their roadmap to navigate life.
Yeah, no.
It's just a new religion.
Yeah, 100%. I want to let our listeners know that our chat is working. So if there's anybody watching live currently, which I know there's a few, I'm keeping an eye on and monitoring the chat that's going on. I want to say hello to Deb. She's in the chat room there. I can see her commenting. And if you guys have questions, throw them in there. Let us know if there's any technical issues going on that we don't know about. Can't exactly listen live because it would sound terrible if we did. But we're rocking and rolling here with Patti Negri from. She's been featured on Ghost Adventures and many other shows, and we're rolling along with the interview. I'm excited because I'm a big fan of her work. I'm also a paranormal investigator, and I understand a lot of the things she does. So we're a little bit on the same wavelength there. So that kind of helps the interview a little bit. But yeah, I have people come on my ghost hunts too. Like when I do public events, people come on because they're curious, that they want to know, they don't want to bring it home with them because they're also scared at the same time. But yeah, to me, I'm sure you're in agreement with this 100%. Like, it's about the intent, and I think if you have good intentions, it's all about the intent.
100%. When everything is about intent. What you're doing, why you're going on the ghost hunt, doing magic, doing spell crafting, your spirituality, really, all of it's about intent.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. What have been some of the most? You've been on a lot of locations, not only on Ghost Adventures, but like the things you do on the side from the show. You've been at a lot of scary locations. What has been the most scariest location that stands out to you the most?
Honestly, yes, I've been a lot, all over the world, all over Europe, Romania, France, England, back east. But honestly, weirdly and not weirdly, the darkest place I've ever been is the Cecil Hotel right here in Los Angeles.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it's. I'm pushing 100 years old. It is so dark. It has always been a place of failure, sadness, hopelessness. It was built to be this fancy place, and then the Depression hit. It's always been a flop house, so it's always had lots of drugs and alcohol and people down on their luck. 2 serial killers have lived there. I've probably been there more than anybody. I did a 2-part Ghost Adventures on it. I did a 4-part with Elton and the Overnight crew on it. I did a CW show on it. But I like the first time I had went, Zach had called me a couple weeks before. He said, "Patti, we're coming to town. We need you." Okay. And then he called me and it was like, "Can you get here in 2 hours?" I'm like, oh, 2 hours? Oh my God, I'm a girl. Did I brush my hair today? I'm at my brother's house. Okay, I can get there in 2 hours. I don't think he told me it was at the Cecil. I didn't hear him. If he did, he gave me an address. And he said it's downtown, kind of funky, Skid Row downtown. It is. So I'm driving up and I kind of saw the water tower. I'm like, oh, this is the place. This is the water tower girl, the elevator girl. That's all I knew. I didn't remember anything else about it. But I remember parking, and again, it's a spooky downtown area, and walking up, and with every step I took, Matthew, I got more and more depressed, more and more hopeless. This rat didn't even want to let me in. Rats, because it's Skid Row, rats usually skitter away from you. This would go towards me. Like, I would go right, and the rat would go right, and I would go left, and the rat would go left. I'm like, are you possessed? Are you trying to protect me? I don't know, but you have to move. I have a call time. So, by the time I got up to the door, I was just so hopeless and so depressed. And the guys, they'd been there for hours already. Of course, they had the camera strapped on, and they're like, "Okay, hey, Patti, hi." I'm like, "Hi, I'm gonna die." And I allow myself to go into trance immediately because that's what I'm there for. So Zach's like, "Okay, Patti, there's 1,400 rooms. There's 14 floors. There's 700 rooms. Everyone's unlocked. Where did we go?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just want to die." So I go in the elevator, and I'm like, oh, and I'm looking. I go, "Oh, this is that elevator where the girl was pushing." And I pushed the button, and I took him up to a room. And the first room, I'm just like, I just want to die. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. And I walk up to a window, and I'm opening a window. And Zach's yelling at me. He's like, "Sit down. Why are you opening that window? Sit down." And I'm like, I just have to get out of here. It's like being in a dream state. And I'm like, he doesn't yell at me. Why is he yelling at me? He's like, "Sit down right now." And I'm opening the window. There was no screen on it. And he finally made me sit down. And there was literally like Aaron or somebody had an SLS, the guy drive me to do it. And of the 700 rooms, I led them to a room where somebody had jumped out that exact window, and Zach knew it.
Wow.
And here I'm opening the window going, I have to get out of here. I don't think I would have jumped, but he thought I was going to jump. So then he got me out of there, and I led him right to another room. And all of a sudden I felt myself being attacked. I'm like, oh my God, I'm being attacked. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And he's like, "Why are you being attacked?" And the part of me, still conscious Patti, I only let spirit, is like, how do I say that body part on television?
Right.
I don't know. And I like female parts or labor. I led them right to a room where this woman who lived there had been raped and murdered. A woman who used to feed the birds and lived there. And that was my second.
Wow.
And then I'm there. All sorts of crazy stuff happened. Crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't make it to camera. But then I went back soon afterwards, again with overnight,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm channeling. I was in a hallway, and so much crazy stuff happened in the hallway. I pictured, like, again, a lot of tweakers, like, in the halls, this and that. And I thought I do rock, and I do rock, but I was rocking so hard, somebody had to put their hand behind my head, into wall. But I thought I was just talking, because it's like a dream. I thought I was talking away, talking away, talking away. All they heard was gibberish, and I didn't know it. But Corey, who I had been working with, he goes, "We should play that backwards." They played it backwards, and I was speaking English backwards.
Wow.
That's easy. I can hardly even write back. I'm so non-dyslexic. I couldn't do that if you gave me $1 million.
Crazy.
I probably spelled Patti backwards. I'm not sure about Negri. It's like, but to be talking backwards, that place is crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
And now, sadly, if it makes a relatively sane, well-balanced person, hopeless, what it would do for somebody with an issue and great concept, bad thing. There right now, the last couple of years, been moving in homeless people. Again, great 700 MD rooms, more than 700 homeless people living on the street. But I see ambulances pulling up every day. It's already happening. If I wanted to kill I keep wanting to, like, gather every magical person, every healer, rabbi, priest, preacher, shaman, do a big hold hands around the building, do a big come by, clear of the place, because that's what it needs.
Yeah. Would that even work? Because I mean, there's so much energy in that.
I think if we had enough people. I mean, it's a beautiful old building.
Yeah.
But it's not even working. When I was there, it's been a while now. Last time I was there, out of the 700 rooms, only 30 some people had moved in because they'd rather live on the street than in this place because it's so depressing.
Yeah. I when you mentioned trance and like channeling, I've come close to something like that in a situation where we were investigating a place called Oheka Castle in Huntington here on Long Island, and I was in what we call Addie's parlor. Addie Wolf Kahn was the wife of the original owner, and I think she was trying to come through, and like all I could think about was I was conversing about tea and crumpets, and my wife is like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "You're not yourself," and I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, something's trying to like communicate and come through me, and I'm like, I didn't feel myself, and I kind of felt like it was like kind of taken over me a little bit, and I wasn't really in full control, and all these weird like things started coming out of my mouth, and my wife was like, "That's not you." She's like, you were totally like channeling something.
Yeah, I believe we have it in us. I mean, that's why I started school. I teach how to do this. I'm sure you were. You're very intuitive.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be in this business if you weren't.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. You'd be, that stupid ghosty stuff.
Yeah.
You were channeling. That's cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. What you call it? When I first started out, I was more into like the research and like the gadgets and all the cool equipment, and then I didn't really know like I had abilities myself until like as I got older. I think because like as paranormal investigators, we kind of become more in tune because you're now tuning in more to trying to listen and trying to communicate and use different trigger objects and different methods and techniques to try to communicate. And I think that kind of helped like build the abilities like over time. I truly believe that's what kind of helped that a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. And the more you do it, the more open you do it, the more you get out of your own way. That's when it happens.
Yeah, totally. So you have been everywhere. What has been one of your most favorite places to been to that you've been to? Like, say if there is a location that you like that you want to always go back to. What's been one of the most fun places that you can remember?
This past year, I did this really fun magical tour of Romania.
Cool.
and castles and like Dracula's castle and Bram Castle, and that was so magical. And we met these beautiful Romanian witches
Nice.
and ritual with them. I went to the Hoibachu forest,
Nice.
where like one of the world's two most, the one in Japan and the one there, haunted forests, and did magic. It was just like every minute of every day was great. So that was great. And then and again, going across upon Ireland is so magical, in the fairyland, and doing a whole magical tour. Here in the States, it's really interesting, and I finally got there a couple of years ago. I was always obsessed with getting to Gettysburg, and I didn't know why, because I'm not a big history buff, and I'm not a big about war and battles. That's not my gig. Neither I was there, but we couldn't wait to get to Gettysburg, and now that I have, I feel it. I mean, it's so sad. There is so much there, but the beauty there and the connection and the land, that is what I look forward to going back there again. That is good.
Nice.
I do like the Conjuring House, I must say. Everything that's going on with it, that was a pretty magical place to happen. A few of the prisons, I can never remember the names of them. I toured with Elton, the guys, like in that Chicago area, that those, everybody goes to old prisons, all those 100-year-old defunct prisons, because I think a lot of the ghosts, they're not stuck there. They hang out there because that's the life they knew. They're having a good time now. Interesting. They really want to be heard and listened to, some of those places.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Another spooky place for me is right here in LA, and that's the Black Dahlia House. That guy, the doctor who I know did it, he was dark. He was evil. He actually broke my rib in my own house. I've had a little accidents.
Ouch.
Yeah, he pushed me so hard into a chair. I heard this crack, 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 and my producer, she go, "You okay?" I'm like, "No." And I always say I'm okay. I could have a severed arm and go, "Yeah, it's a flesh wound," but it pulled all the cartilage off my rib. He
Really?
pushed me so hard.
Wow.
Yeah. He hates women. He's an evil man anyway, but really hates women. Dr. George Hodel. So I've done a few things there. It's such a magical, weird, dark house, though. That's fun.
Yeah.
But I like happy ghosts too. I mean, we're so rarely do people want to go to the happy ghost. The Hollywood Roosevelt here, a hotel, where you see Marilyn Monroe walking by the pool in a 60 chiffon gown.
Nice.
By pillows, hanging from the chandeliers, having a good time. The Biltmore here in downtown, I've done a bunch at and again, mostly positive, good times. Ghosts. Yeah, the mob got so-and-so and hung them from this, that, that thing. But I love to go where there's happy, joyous, celebrating ghosts too.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever heard of this about Marilyn Monroe, but we actually have a little bit of Marilyn Monroe lore in our neck of the woods. There was apparently a boarding house on the North Shore out further east of Long Island, and she used to frequently visit a summer place over there. And apparently she was allegedly pregnant at the time, and she spent time over there. I don't know if I don't think she had the child, but because it would have been on record and known. But apparently, yeah, she was like spending her summers there every now and then doing her photo shoots, trying to build her career. It was like during her younger years.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
She's a beautiful spirit. She was a beautiful spirit.
Yeah, she was. She was a very beautiful woman. Shame what happened, But yeah, definitely.
She used to be forever,
Yeah.
I think okay.
Yeah. How do you feel about I know this question gets brought up a lot, but for those who are just starting out, what's your thoughts on crossing spirits over? Like, some people say, nay about it because, they don't think it should be up to us to cross them over. Me, personally, I think, if they ask for that help, then I think it's okay, if we have the permission to do that. But what's your thoughts about crossing spirits over?
Mine is the same. Most spirits I don't think are stuck. Like I said, even at the prison yard, they're hanging out because that's the life they knew and they're choosing to it. That's where they were in life. When you occasionally get the one that is like stuck there, sometimes, like I think at the Cecil, there's a bigger presence, a bigger energy holding spirits there. I would love to cross over some spirits there. And sometimes when there's somebody, maybe they unexpected death, they didn't know they died a violent death, and they don't know their death, that's what I call the shades. Those are ones I cross over. I've done it at several seances. We create the light, we bring it, and everybody feels it at the same exact moment that they cross over. The ones who want to or stuck and don't know they're dead, or again being held down. I think the Black Dahlia house is being held. Black Dahlia is being held, and a few other girls by George Hodel. We crossed over on Ghost Adventures. One girl, you didn't get to see it on camera, but I was there with Fauna Hodel because she had promised her mother, and then her mother could die. But I'm not going to go to a place that makes their living on being a haunted place and clear all their ghosts. That would be awfully rude. No, but if I was at the Conjuring house and there's all
right.
Or what, the last Gasp murder house, this or that,
yeah,
all, and there's all the ghosts that live there. They're good ones and bad ones. I'm not going to touch them. Cranky ones and happy ones. But there's one that's actually stuck. I would cross that one over, but I would certainly not. That's not the one who's haunting people anyway.
Right.
That's not the one, doing all the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah. If you felt that you needed to cross something over, would you share with our audience, if you don't mind, like what techniques or style that you use? Because I know everybody does things differently, like depending on how they were mentored or what they followed. But helping spirits cross over, what? How do you go about it?
Yeah, there's a million right ways to do it.
Sure.
Again, what I do it, say if it's just me, I pull light through the body, I pull light to the heart, and I get this golden divine light in the heart, and then I shoot it. Usually it's in more of a group. Maybe there's 2 of us, maybe there's 3 of us, maybe there's 13 of us around a seance table, maybe there's 20 of us doing an investigation. I have everybody get into a circle and create this beautiful light effect. Sometimes we'll hold hands, left palm up, right down, send it through to create this beautiful safe space. Then I have everybody pulse the light at their heart. And then while we're in the circle, I have everybody shoot that light to the center of the circle. And literally you see that ball forming, sometimes literally. And then I have that ball turn into like a tube, like literally beam me up, Scotty, kind of a tube. And then we invite the spirit to cross over. We can help them, we can't push them through it. But literally you can hold their hand and take it, and you see the hesitation and you see the joy. And almost everybody, say there was 10 of us in a circle, that exact moment, some people can see it with their inside eyes, outside eyes, some people just know it, some people are just taking our word for it. But usually at that exact moment that they cross over, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Right here, the room gets empty, you feel the change of the energetics in the room, and it's amazing. So that's my most used technique, because it doesn't take, I work with herbs and oils and all sorts of things, but you don't need it. You work with the light, you create the light for them to go into.
Nice. I know what you're talking about, because my wife and I had a little problem at our house, believe it or not, many years ago. We had a negative spirit attached to us from an investigation we did many years ago, and it wreaked havoc at home. And being paranormal investigators, we didn't know that part of the field very well, like how to get rid of things per se, and we had to get in touch with a psychic medium to educate us on how to deal with what we had going on, and they pretty much crossed it over, because that's what it was needed in order to get rid of it. And yeah, we felt just that energy lift, and it just feels like such a weight lifted off of you, and you just feel like the total, it is, I can't explain it, you have to just feel it yourself, but I know exactly what you're describing.
Yeah, and it's it. And that's where you get a lot is like when you're doing house clearings or like your house, that's when there's somebody gets stuck there and um it's yeah, and you just know, and then the whole room feels different, the whole space feels different.
Yeah, yeah. And then I remember my mentor, because she eventually became my mentor years later. And I remember her telling us, it's like an earthquake. You know how you have an earthquake and then you're going to have aftershocks? She goes, you may experience some aftershocks because it had such a stronghold on you guys that you're gonna feel like little tremors of things here and there, but eventually it's like something that's gonna eventually settle down.
Well, I like that aftershock earthquake. What I call that is residual.
Okay.
Res- of residual energy is something you're so used to, and the way I explain it is like, say you bake some yummy chocolate chip cookies. Oh, and they smelled so good. They were great. But your wife ate them all. But they still smell, right? So even though the cookies are gone, you're so used to it, the smell lingers. Or forget the cookies. Say you stepped in dog poop. You already cleaned off the shoe, but it still smells for a while. That's residual, or again, aftershocks. I like that.
Yeah. No, everybody has different analogies of
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't think you brought it back because you haven't. That's the leftover
Yeah,
smell.
yeah. Leftovers are always, well, they can be good and bad. Depends on the leftovers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I have so many questions I have like written down, and like as an interviewer, I have like a whole list of things here, and like I get too wrapped up in the interview sometimes that I forget like to go back and look at my list here. But um, what advice could you give somebody? Because like one of the things I've noticed is that with all the new paranormal TV shows and with all the exploitation on TV and the media, especially social media and all these public events that are out there now, people want to know if they have abilities or not. And like I notice a lot of people want to go down the avenue and exploring if they have the gift. What advice could you give or educate a young person that wants to learn that avenue? Like, what would you tell them?
Come to my school for
Yeah.
20 in the class. I will teach you how to do that.
Nice.
No, it's being open to it because it's that creative side of your brain. We have our left logical brain, which we have to go through life with. Stop at a red light, go to work, do it. It's that right creative, which is the spiritual, artistic, magical side. That is where your spirit. You have to learn to shush that left logical brain. Like if you go, wow, I think Grandma's standing behind me. And then your logical brain went, oh, that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. That's not her. Somebody just opened a window. You just want to shush that side and go, maybe Grandma, hi, Grandma, are you here? If you're here, give me a sign. And it's learning to trust. And I think we all have a language. I teach, like somebody's like, oh, my ear tingles, or I get a bellyache, which is actually common, or yeah, if things change. We all have a different language, and we have to learn our language and create our spirit language. When I'm training my mediums in the school, it's like everybody's going to be completely different, just like us. But there's lots of exercises you can do. And the biggest one to me is don't be afraid of being wrong. Because being afraid of wrong throws you right over to that left logical brain. And then we're going to be wrong. The more you don't care if you're wrong, the less you're going to be wrong. Like this song is going to play next, or you put a bunch of colored pins in a bag, reach into the bag, it's going to be a red pin. It's green. It was red this time. But the more you don't worry about it, because that's getting out of your own way. So that's the biggest thing. Make it okay to be. Is there a giraffe in the room? No, there's not a giraffe in the room. That's okay. That gets that judgmental thing. You can't have the judgmental thing. And then learning the cues. Somebody might get goosebumps. That's a common one. This or that. My teeth get numb. Everybody. It's being a complete body awareness, thought awareness, because all the clairs are different. Clairvoyant clairs that some people smell, see. No, sometimes you just know Grandma's behind you. Sometimes see Grandma's behind you. Sometimes you just feel Grandma's behind you. Sometimes it's all different. So it's learning what your strong clairs are. I have people like look around a room and then do it again with their eyes closed and see what senses are they using. Are you using your memory? Are you using your eyesight? Is it an energetic thing? Are you feeling emotion? To see which your strong senses are, and then the ones you have to develop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I know Lilydale is a really good place to go. There's a lot of spiritual advisors and psychic mediums, mentors up that way. Like, would that be a place like if you were on the East Coast? I guess like that's all the way up.
Yeah, definitely. I still want. It's been high on my bucket list to go to for a long time. Haven't. I would actually like to go there. I would like to speak there. Actually,
Nice.
I know Cindy Kaza just recently did, and I love Cindy. She's great. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. Doing a gallery there. So
You should.
my seances actually are very much spiritualist. I was born in me. I may have lived there in another life. One of the things I always say is straight spiritualist. There is a place where we all go, where ne'er the frost and cold winds blow. Our friends remembered reunite. Those who hate forget their spite. We gather round these gentle beings. We call you now to bless our meeting. Um, that's pure 18 something spiritual, right? Literal. And it just works. Spirit taught it to me, and that's what I do. So
Nice.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Who did you look up to when you were learning your abilities and stuff? Who did you look up to the most?
Oh, everybody. I love to learn. That's why I said I became a seeker to study religion and philosophy. I think of really going way, way, way back when I
Mm-hmm.
was young, first person who I saw, like, oh my God, she's magical, was Shirley MacLaine, that big
Mm-hmm.
80s Shirley MacLaine. Like, oh my God, out on a limb, past lives, this and that, this beautiful being. She got me into spirituality, and then I took this little turn into discovered the craft Wicca. Then it was just pure Wiccan and elemental magic, because I've always had been able to talk to trees and animals and everything, and that was able to really work with energy, with the spirit. I've had many beautiful teachers, not particularly famous ones. Like George Derby was one of my greatest teachers. He's passed on. Griffin Kett, he's here alive teaching in Los Angeles. Sal Santoro, he's alive here teaching in Los Angeles. There's, like I said, I'm a teacher by heart and a student by heart. I'm always, if I don't know something, I want to learn it.
Yeah, no, I'm the same
And
way. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's when I started my school, University Magicus. We have like 20 different teachers and all different belief systems, all different paths. I
Mm-hmm.
won't let a teacher say this is the truth, this is a truth, or this is my truth. I teach mediumship, psychic development, spell crafting. I have a guy in Italy teaching Italian witchcraft. I have a guy in Brazil teaching Brazilian magic. I have a Catholic priest teaching exorcism priest stuff. I have a werewolf guy teaching werewolf magic. Not put on a suit, but that working with nature. My partner Sebastian teaches vampire magic. Um, and we have tarot, astrology, new age, Reiki. I love it. It's just an old school mystery school, just to learn the mysteries of all paths.
Yeah, 100%. I'm the same way. I was gonna say. I'm all about, even though like I'm 48 years old now. I've been in the paranormal field for I don't know over 20 years, and I've learned so much, but I still feel like there's still so much you can learn. Like it's a learning field, and there's still so much to learn about. Like every day, there's always something new you hear about, and you're like, yeah, I want to learn about that because I never heard that before. And that's what I love about the paranormal. Is like, you hear about stuff that that you never knew or heard of, and until somebody, I always like feel everybody brings something different to the table with their theories or their discussions, and like so like I'm always like listening and learning, and I just yeah I'm 100% the same way as you are.
I love it. Yeah, and with new discoveries, new inventions, and we're all. I'm going to be learning until the day I die. If I ever think I know everything, then shoot me. Because the more you know, the more you know you don't know.
Yeah.
The more you learn, the more you go. There's more to learn.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how boring would life be if you knew everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a way, like, I think that's why we were put here. We were put here to learn and discover and, improve human life, and like that's our purpose, is to, like, to learn and educate and be, make awareness, and I think that's one of our purposes of being human.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah, yeah,
And to learn, because I think this is school. When we're on this life, this is school of the living, and then we pass over, then we're school of the not living, and then we
yeah,
come back here and we're school.
yeah.
It's all about in school. Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's your thoughts on, I don't want to get too much involved in, like I said, in what recently happened, but I know this gets brought up a lot because more people now are collecting items and collecting, items that allegedly have spirits attached to them. Some spirits are not so nice. Some spirits are okay. They're haunted dolls, haunted items that are in antique places that people take home, and or relics from religious areas, and different parts of the world. People collecting. What's your thoughts on haunted objects and how spirits can attach themselves to an object?
That is why I created this book that just was released this month.
That was my segue.
That was good. No, because I mean, haunted dolls. Yeah, and I heard you mention Dan. Dan was a dear friend of mine. It is so sad, and he was a great guy. Way too young. We don't know what happened. We don't know why. And we
Right.
just send him his family love.
Yeah,
But I just knew dolls have always been popular, but never as popular as they are now. Grown adults like you, men and women, people have dolls collection behind me. Zach's doll collection. I travel the world, and I'm like, they can be dangerous. There needs to be a guidebook.
yeah,
So when I first got my bell, I mean, I wouldn't let the sun set. She had made somebody sick for 3 years. I've done that seance with Peggy the doll, who gave 2 people heart attacks. So this half of this, it's all about dolls. Half of the book is literally both how acquisition of haunted dolls, because so many people are getting ripped off on Etsy. It's like, if one seller has like 100 haunted dolls with big, great stories, maybe they're just a good writer. Maybe they're not maybe they went to the secondhand store and got a doll, and you can call it. I teach people how to call a spirit. Create your own haunted doll into a spirit, and if the Etsy or eBay seller did that, that's great. But they should have said that that's what they did. I called in the spirit of a little girl from whatever, because people are paying way too much money for a doll right out of the thrift store or the antique
I
store.
agree with that.
And again, you can go to a thrift store and antique store and find one, and there's easy start spotting out what that is. But there is a proper care and feeding, working with herbs or intent, and so they don't, because they can drain your energy. They can literally and figuratively make you sick. So that's half of this book, and again, just needed information. And then half the book, for my witchy side, is magical puppets, which are little. People usually think they're voodoo dolls, but they're not. It's used for love and health and money. It's like, I have one with me. If I have a headache, I'll stick a needle in the head of my little doll and my headache goes away. So this is all about dolls from both sides, the witchy side and the paranormal side. So yeah, this came out 3 weeks ago, maybe about a month now. It's doing really well.
Nice.
Yeah, doll craft. So if you guys want a haunted doll, have a haunted doll, or even thinking about it, get this.
I totally recommend it, because you don't know what you're going to get involved with. My advice is make sure you do a lot of research before you invest in something like that, because God forbid you bring something into your life that can wreak havoc and you have no control over it, and God forbid.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to have a haunted doll. I've got a haunted doll. It's not fun to have a negative haunted doll
No.
in your home. Send those to the museum. Send those to Zach's museum, because again, they will cause arguing, illness, money loss, everything you don't want.
Yeah.
Positive haunted dolls are just as spooky. Footsteps downstairs, things moved around, but they don't drain your energy and make you sick.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah, no, I agree. But we did that as well. We anything that we collected over investigations that we've done personally, we have a museum that we have a really good relationship with in New Jersey, and they let us kind of keep our items there. We don't bring anything home, and we keep them in a safe place, binded over there, away from, other spaces of that museum. And we're grateful that they let us do that there. We had, I'll tell you a quick story, actually. We had a doll that I had come across, and I had it here at the house, and my wife didn't want it here. She's like, I don't want it here. She's like, it's got bad mojo. She's like, get out of here. I'm like, I'm working on it. I'm like, I gotta bring it to our museum. Like, give me a couple of days. Anyway, the moment that doll was in the house, it wreaked havoc in our house. All negative things were happening, even from the road trip down to the museum. My friend that was with me, he was like, that doll didn't want to leave your house. He was like, it didn't want to leave. Like, my air conditioning broke down that day. On the road on the way to the museum, we saw a car engulfed in flames. I had a subliminal message on a car where there was a classic car driving by, and it said Spirit of 76. It was an old classic muscle car, and that's the year of my birthday. It's 1976. And I'm like, what are the odds of seeing that car and then a burning car engulfed in flames?
wow, yeah. No, it can. I had one little, it was a doll, like a statue doll. A friend, like a rock star client friend, had given it to me, and it was fine. And it had been here for 2 years. All of a sudden, I noticed, and I'm in my office right now, I'm like, I am not spending any time in my office. I take my laptop upstairs, I go outside, I take the phone. It's like, I love my little office. Why am I not spending time here? And I'm looking around like, oh, it's you. So I called Zach, and I just go, Zach, I have this thing. It's too dark for my house. I don't want it in. I've had it here, but it's dark now. Do you want it? And he goes, well, what is it? I sent him a picture. He's like, oh, yeah, that's a nail fetish hate doll. I'll take it. So I went to Vegas like that day or that next day, and it's in the hallway. If anybody gets there, it started acting up that very night. The tour guides all said that very night. But it's in the perfect place, not a place where people live and sleep and raise families and have animals. It's a place where people go to see haunted things. So it's in a perfect place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And how, is there a way that you can, you can cleanse a home, you can cross the spirit over. Is it any difficulty with detaching a spirit from an object that it's hanging on to?
Not really. Again, intent is everything. Belief and faith, and
Right.
if you have tools and herbs and oils and things, great, or not. Your faith, your prayers, whatever your path is. Belle, my story behind Belle. A girl in Belgium had contacted me and said, I have this doll. She's beautiful, but she's made me sick for 3 years and made my child sick. Because they're always going to go for the weakest ones, which is somebody ill or your children or your pets. Exactly who you don't want them to go for. But she had seen me doing a seance with Peggy the doll on not in Ghost, the spin-off, Deadly Possessions. And she figured if I could handle Peggy the doll, I could handle Belle. And so I said, you could send her to me. I will give her a good home. She sent her to me. I had never, ever done a Facebook Live before, but something in me say, I have to do this live. And it was the doll, not me. 50,000 people watched me open that doll. I didn't have that many followers, not even close to it. It was the doll that called them in.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, 50. And I got it, and there was this beautiful doll. She wasn't wearing this cute outfit. She just but she was so dark. I'm like, this cannot be in my house. I was like late afternoon already. I would not let the sun set before I banished it. So I banished that dark spirit. I just knew there was a good spirit inside. There was a good spirit inside. But if there wasn't, I was not going to have something that made me, my husband, my dog, my cat sick. So I banished it, and and she still drained energy, but I knew the back. But slowly but surely, over a few days to a week, this beautiful little girl spirit came out, that had been being held down by whatever the thing was holding her down, that I got rid of, so I didn't even want to wait and see what it was. And now she's part of the family. But even when she was first coming out, when she drained energy so much. I had people like heart issues come over, and they're like, my heart's palpitating. I would keep the herb rue in her hand. I put a little baggie of rue, would take away all that energy drain that she would do.
Yeah.
So again, that's stuff that's in the book, how to do that.
Nice. I'm glad you wrote that book, because that's like a trend now, is like, collecting haunted objects and people collecting things, and I'm glad you wrote that, because I don't think there's enough books or education about that part of the field, because it's kind of relatively somewhat new. I'm not gonna say new, but like kind of new. Like within the last 10 years or so, it's been more popular than it's been. We had the Warrens, obviously, with the Occult Museum and everything that started that whole trend, but now it's more popular than ever. So I thought that would be a great segue to bring that up.
Yeah, that was perfect. And again, that's exactly why I did the book, so people can have an easy way. If you want a haunted doll, get a good one.
Yeah.
Create a.
Yeah.
So.
It was funny because the museum that we actually work with in New Jersey, it was kind of funny because they had an old grandfather clock that they got donated to them. It actually turned out that it was in the hands of George Washington. And they were excited. They were like, oh, like we have something that's like, linked and connected to George Washington. And unfortunately, the original owner, they I don't know, something happened with the sale of the donation of the clock. The owner wanted it back, but they wanted to know if there was any energy to it, because it was like something connected with George Washington. I was like, it doesn't always work that way, But it's just a little funny.
Oh, yeah. The spirit of George is in this clock.
Yeah, George Washington is visited everywhere, like literally. But haunted objects. My advice is just if you don't know what you're getting into, don't get into it. Just leave it alone, leave it be, and move on. But if you do your research. Like you said, you brought up Etsy and eBay. Craigslist is another place. I know I've seen a lot on eBay. They sell them for like hundreds of dollars, but if they have like hardly any description on them, like that would be a red flag to me. Like if there's no description, because then I think that person is just trying to pawn it off, and they don't have as much information to share with you. They just picked it up from wherever, or just trying to pawn it off as being a haunted object.
Right. I had this other doll. She's an influencer, and I was clearing her house, and she goes, somebody sent it to her, or they bought it like that. It was supposed to be a haunted doll. It was a modern looked like it came from Walmart doll, but it was dressed in a custom little outfit, cute little outfit. But this doll came with a spell and crystals and herbs and a pendulum to talk to it. So that was kind of clever. I don't even remember offhand if they said it was haunted or you're supposed to call in the spirit. But at least it was more truth in advertising, whatever it was, and they gave you an active thing to do to create it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. My baby doll way over there.
Oh.
I was clearing a client's house, and I just cleared. She wanted no spirit activity at all. Some people want, keep grandma, but clearing everything. And then I got to her dining room, and this doll was here. She's like, take this. I'd already cleared that room. She goes, take this doll. I don't want it. It's haunted. And it wasn't haunted when I got it home. I think I had cleared the spirit out of the doll. So be careful when you're doing her house clearings. Clear her house, not your haunted doll. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that would naturally happen, but she was so clear about wanting everything out.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah. When you cleanse homes, what's your technique? What's your methods? Like, is there anything that you would like to share? Like, say, if people wanted to clear negative energy out of their home, like, what would be your advice to them?
Yeah, I work elementally, so that way it's not going to interfere with if you're Catholic or you're a Christian or a Jew or you're this or you're that. They understand the power, the strength of a tree, the flow and the emotion of water. That it way. So mine's in threefold. I ask them where the heart of the home is, and that's where I set all my stuff. I bring a broom, I bring herbs and oils and drums and things. My first walk through, I will walk through often with dowsing rods and see, I'll often use a K2 meter to see if there's high EMF. Not because of, I mean, it could be ghosts, but sometimes electricity mimics a haunting or makes things happen. I will walk through and they can tell me why they avoid this room or they argue in this room or they've seen things in that room and I'll tell them what I'm thinking. So walk through. Then I'll set up in a heart of the home. It might be the dining room table, the kitchen table, it could be their coffee table, all my stuff. We light a candle. The first thing we do is clear and always do it, unless you're in Australia below the equator, always clear counterclockwise. It's magnetics. The toilets know the right way to go. So say if I was taking my Palo Santo stick around the dining room table, I'd go counterclockwise, room to room, counterclockwise. And I try to bring in every element. I'll be burning something for the air element, spraying something, making noise with a drum or ringing a heavy bell, a loud bell. Um, in different incenses, I will bring a knife, my magical knife. Knives cut energy, cutting the arguing that was in the house, the illness, grandma died, whatever here. I will, and again, if the whole family's there, we're doing it together. One person's got the drum and one's got the knife. We've got the herbs, we're carving through. Counterclockwise to clear, clear, clear. You push it outdoors, you push it out windows. You're not trying to add anything, just clear. You want it to feel spick and span. Um, and then if afterwards everybody go, ooh, the house feels bigger, it feels good, but you don't stop there. Now you have to fill it up. That's the empty thing. I don't use a lot of sage. I have to tell you, sage is a little harsh for most clearings. I occasionally do, but if you do use sage, remember sage gets rid of everything, the good and the bad, all the love. So, and it's so strong, it almost creates a vacuum. So it's like dusting your house and then leaving the doors and windows open in a dust storm.
Right.
So if you do use sage, do it a mix with cedar or something. I use Palo Santo. That gets rid of the negative and not the positive, or a lot of different mixes. But or if you do need sage and use sage, you've cleared it. Now we want to fill it up. Now we go back to that starting point. Now we're going to go clockwise, room by room, space by space, with everything. Start with the front door. Who gets to come in your front door? You don't have to name names, only people invited in, people with good intent, people with respect for me, my home, my family. What comes in that window? Fresh air, inspiration, opportunity, a beautiful view. What do you want in the living room? Oh, communication. We watch TV here, we relax. What do you want in your kitchen? Room by room, I have them put in color, I have them put in emotion, I have them make little touchstones. Okay, that little magical cat statue, have that remind you of the love they have in that family. Bedroom, great sleep, great intimacy. Children's room, great health, protection, and education and learning. Laundry room. Bathrooms, I really go over bathrooms. I teach everybody to keep salt in their bathroom because it's better than even the kitchen. Even besides, of course, great salt bath. A pinch of salt on the floor of your 2-minute shower, you've just turned that into a cleansing shower.
Nice.
Or again, every house has the most magical thing. Every house has this most magical thing. It's a great big water cauldron. It's called a toilet. It's the most magical thing. Water cleanses. It goes the right direction. So say if before we all use the bathroom, before you sit down and use the toilet, a tiny little pinch of salt in the commode before you sit down. When you relieve yourself, you can get rid of headaches, angst, fear, anger, flushes down and goes to the ocean. So room by room by room, clockwise, adding, and then the house you feel the warmth in every room. Home office, okay, the phone ringing, clients calling in, working computers, as much as you can fill everything up. There's not room for the dark stuff to get back in. There's not. All of a sudden you're walking into that room and you're reminding yourself, oh yeah, there's my lucky cat. Oh yeah, this is the kids' room. We charged that Superman doll with safety for my kid.
Nice. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of. Yeah.
Average house, an average little house, big house is more.
Oh
It
yeah.
takes 2 hours for me to do anything, even a small apartment.
Yeah, yeah. And like what I like too is that now they come in different forms, like not just like burning sage, but you also have these sprays that I think, like if like me and my wife, we have asthma, so like I think like using the sprays is a lot more easier, especially around people who have like lung issues, like us,
Yes.
you know.
And there's lots of places that you can't burn. You go to hotels and things,
Yeah,
or do you clear office buildings and all, you can't burn anything
right.
anymore. So I use a lot. I will put an essential oil into a spray and make it. But the one thing I think that every house needs to keep it clear is a bell.
Mm,
Bells are magic. Bells have always been magic. Like church bells, temple bells, singing bowls. Without being big clearings, bells call in spirit, call in magic. I mean, there's all these conspiracy theories about, oh, why are all the church bells gone? There's something, it's in the megahertz. It's as well. But go find yourself a beautiful bell that sounds good. Every home should have one. All of a sudden, if you notice you're arguing or you're not feeling good, you're not inspired, ring the bell, bring in joy and happiness. It takes you 5 minutes to do your whole house. Every house needs a bell.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Several.
that's great.
Yeah.
Crazy. Do you use a pendulum at all, or?
I hardly do. I have a few,
Okay.
but I think I'm like, you see people going, no, I'm not moving it.
Yeah.
Your hand's moving. It's really hard to not. You're not trying to. I'm a dowsing rod girl.
Yeah.
I'm a dowsing rod all the way. It's you can't, you don't wiggle. I'm really good at being really still with dowsing rods. And to me, I take these when I'm walking through a house. You could tell the energy, the heartbeat.
Yeah.
It'll find portals. When you're doing the house clearing, make sure you're shutting down or opening or clearing all the
Right.
mirrors and where there's things.
Well,
But
if I remember the history, not to interrupt you real quick, I'm sorry. With the history of the dowsing rods, weren't they originally designed to find water?
yeah, and they still use to find.
And that's why
Huh?
the idea of using them for energy came up. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I know contractors who use them now to find water lines. They're nothing to do with woo-woo stuff.
Yeah.
They were used to find water in deserts and stuff like that. Yeah, they're water witches. They're dowsing rods. They're just, but they work great. They really work great to point out what's going. Lead you. Where's it goes? It points to the right. Okay, we're going to the right. We're going
Yeah.
to the left.
Yeah.
And you can get lots of nuances with your rod. Mine, with most people, but everybody's going to be different. Cross on yes, not cross on no, very standard. But mine, if it's more movement on the right,
Yeah.
if it's any kind of a question, that means you or the person you're talking about, their energy or their thought or their actions are making it happen.
Okay.
If it's stronger left than the right, it's outside sources, somebody else, the heavens, the universe, the gods making it happen. So this is a solid yes. This might be you're trying for something that's running away from you. This might be you're running away from something's trying to get you. It did cross, but it crossed way over here. You can get so many nuances out of dowsing rods. You just have to learn your rods and how they work for you.
Gotcha. I'm with you. So the pendulum. I real quick story. My wife and I, we were doing a private home investigation, and I was never a person that was really into pendulums or the idea of pendulums themselves until I seen this with my own eyes, and I think this is the most craziest thing I ever seen with a pendulum. So I know that like counterclockwise can also stand for negative energy. So like when you're using the pendulum, counterclockwise means negative and the other way means positive. So we were looking for obviously the negative stuff in this house, and she was using the pendulum, and then to prove that it wasn't her manipulating the pendulum in any way, the homeowner put a hook in the ceiling, and she put the hook there and put the pendulum on the hook, and left it there, and it was spinning counterclockwise all by itself, and I didn't see anybody touching it, no strings, no like, finagling of it, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And she took a video of it and sent it to us. She's like, look, she's like, it's spinning by itself, hanging on a hook.
Yeah, that's the way to actually do a pendulum. I mean, that's because I'm just too. I do love them, and some people have much steadier hands than I do. But I had one. It was like a little jar with a pendulum hanging in it. So the same thing. It had to move by itself. So that's pretty cool that it did that. When I was at Penhurst a few months ago, the Penhurst Paracon,
Yes,
was in Candyland, which is where the kids all had to go at this horrible place. And there was, I don't remember what it was. It worked like a pendulum. It was something hanging. It was a doll or a light bulb, something hanging from a string, and that worked just like a pendulum too. It was wild to get it to go.
nice.
Everything energy. That's it. Energy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the idea, in what I can remember about them is that when you're holding it, it's harnessing it's using your energy from you as well as its own energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's borrowing your energy. The same with the rods and everything. You're
Right.
conduiting it using the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything as whether you're using ghost equipment or whether it's making the spirits making the candle dance. Everything, it's energy.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Scientists always argue, about the whole energy thing, and like even scientists today are saying, now they're more open to the idea that everything is energy. Everything we touch. My microphone. This desk that was made by somebody was produced from energy. Everything is energy. Where energy. Everything that we touch is energy.
Right. And
Yeah.
nothing is solid. I mean, this is basic 7th grade science. This
Yeah.
is not solid. It's moving atoms, itty bitty moving atoms that are energy.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. Life is cool.
Yeah.
And we're living in some scary, bad, horrible times, but I'm not going to get into that. But we're living in magical times too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting to be alive now.
Yeah, no, it's funny you bring the scary times up. I'm actually in August. I'm gonna have just real quick mention we're gonna have an end times roundtable live discussion with elite pastors and end times researchers on Out of This World podcast. We're gonna have people from all different backgrounds and diverse backgrounds regarding the end times and people's beliefs about the Bible prophecy and all that. So that's going to be a really cool episode. I can't wait for that.
Fabulous. I'll definitely tune into that.
Yeah.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, I have Pastor Ryan Speakman. He's an author who wrote about the rapture. I have Joel Richardson. So far, he's also a best-selling author. He wrote many books of the Antichrist and all that stuff. And it's going to be a very dark, deep, kind of scary discussion, but it's also going to lighten and I think help educate people a little bit more about the actual current events and what's actually written and what's real versus what's not real, and because the media likes to spin off of things like that. So
Of course it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So one other thing I want to bring up before I forget, because this is on my list of questions, your thoughts on, one thing that people tend to get a lot of misinformation about because of TV shows. Not that I'm knocking TV shows. I'm just saying that sometimes a lot of misinformation regarding negative spirits and demonic spirits, there's a lot of confusion. People think, if you hear a growl, sometimes a growl can be, a demonic, not everything is demonic. It's sometimes I think, in my opinion, when you're communicating with a spirit and they have trouble communicating because they don't have a lot of energy to communicate or know how, maybe sometimes that growl is frustration, not so much a growl because it's demonic, but maybe it's trying to communicate and it can't. So I think there's a lot of confusion as to negative energies and demonic energies. There's like, I've been in the field a while, so I know the difference between the two. But what's your thoughts on the differences, and what can you teach people a lot about the negative versus the demonic?
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Demons get way too much credit. I think 95% of what demons, it's not. It's a cranky ass ghost.
Yeah,
It's a cranky spirit, like you said. Maybe they're growling, and
yeah,
you know, and there's not a confusing if it is a demonic thing. Yes, I do believe in demons, and there's demons out there, but most are just cranky in life, cranky in death, or again, like you said, they don't have the energy. Um, TV has done a lot of that, making everything demon, and YouTube, everybody makes that, but hopefully we'll wear out of that. Just like, no, this is just Cranky Harry. Cranky Harry died in 1977, and he's cranky. That's it. Um, he's just cranky.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you 100%. What you are in life now is what you are going to be when you carry that over when you pass over.
Yeah, and yeah, so you're Bob the quiet. Bob the quiet banker in his cubicle is going to be Bob the quiet ghost. Some big old movie star, or a gangster in the prison, or a rock star. They're going to be big in life, big in death.
Yeah.
Little in life, little in death.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't want to miss this question. We have a question in the chat. Reverting back to the dowsing rod, Deb asked, does it matter what kind of rods you get?
I have so many kinds of rods. This particular pair is made by a friend of mine. This is made out of car antenna, old school car antenna. I have the light up ones, which are really great if you're on paranormal investigations or seances, because it's dark. I love the light up ones from NCPD. I have little short ones you carry around. I have some that close into look like two pens. I have, you just want to feel like if you go out and buy some, just like if you're buying anything, clothes, crystals, equipment, go ones you're attracted to that feel good to you. If you could test them out, test them out. But I haven't noticed a difference. A lot of people like the purity of copper, but I think that might conduct really well. But this is whatever they made old-fashioned car antennas out of, and these are brilliant. And I first avoided the light up ones because I thought, oh, they have batteries, they're going to they are smooth as butter. However he made them, they are smooth as butter, so there's not an issue there either. So yeah, I just think the ones you're drawn to is the best, or the ones you get, because you have to get to know them, you have to get to work with them. Because usually when you first had somebody they haven't held apart, it's crazy. They're like putting out eyes. They're like going, what? and it's like, okay, you have to relax. You have to relax. Then you can get it to where they could just hold it without moving. Now you have working dowsing rods. Not if they're already swinging back and forth. Now you have to now we have working dowsing rods. It's a really good exercise in meditation, actually.
Oh,
to
cool.
Relax.
Nice.
Most people are holding them so tight. It's like, hold them light.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna actually, when it comes to dowsing rods, I have skeptic friends that are funny with them, because they're like, well, what if we come up with a contraption where we could put rods like in a holder and you're not holding them, so then if they move without you holding them, then you can prove without a shadow of doubt that they work, right? But I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand the concept, but the whole concept is that it's harnessing your energy. You have to be holding it. That's the idea behind it that they don't understand.
Right. There's a haunted museum in England. I forget, some little town in England. They have I think it's a copper table. They have a dowsing rod table. They literally have this coming up out of the middle of the table. So I think people might put their hands on the table, whatever, to use that human energy. But I don't know. But
Yeah.
that was Well, I like that dowsing rod table.
Yeah, they're cool. I like them a lot. You know, it's old. It's old school. I'm old school. I use a lot of old school methods during my investigations a lot because you know a lot of these newer gadgets. Like if I was a spirit or a ghost, I'd be like kind of intimidated, and I'd be like, that looks too sophisticated to try to contact somebody with. So like, I'd rather use like an older school method, like a dowsing rod or something. You know, that's a little more laid back and be like a little more less intimidating to the spirit.
Yeah, me too. Like I have these two. They're, in a sense, they're like an ovulus inside a crystal ball. A crystal ball is not going to scare if you go in. You're in some Western town, 1800s. They may not like a crystal ball, but you get all these flashing lights and things. That scares people. That's why it's nice they came up with trigger objects like little teddy bears and stuff like that for kids and that. Because, yeah, think if you died 100 years ago, you're not going to understand all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Deb said thank you for answering that question, and thank you for the question. I appreciate it.
I am on. I have the page up, but I can't find the chat room because I'm lame.
Yeah, it's actually under the YouTube comments. So if you go on the YouTube channel, Out of This World podcast show on YouTube, yeah, and then you can under the comment section when people comment under that, that's where basically all the conversation will take place there. So, but yeah, if anybody has questions, hopefully everything is working in order. Wow, we haven't. I can't believe it's 9:30 already. Yeah, time flies when you have fun. Patty, I used to do like an hour show, and I said to myself, an hour is not enough. Like people always want more out of the guests, and I can never like give them enough time to like enjoy the guests. Like by the time you get the conversation going, it's like that hour goes by so fast.
Good for you. That's good. I'm opposite. I keep mine short and sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
I like long. I do Coast to Coast with George and Ori a lot. I'm doing a new spinoff with that next week, I think, after Comic-Con.
Nice.
And that's always 2 hours. And once their second guest, and it was like 4 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's fun. Like we haven't ran out of things to talk about yet.
Oh no, not at all. No, like I kind of make people feel like we're sitting at a bar and we're just like having conversation, having a drink, glass of wine, whatever. I try to.
Where's my wine?
Yeah, I try to make my guests feel at home. Is what I'm trying to say.
And you do. You very much do. You're a good host.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, before we run out of time, are there any events or things you would like to plug? Any projects you're involved with? I know you're all over the place, like, and I'm so appreciative of you taking the time to even be on the podcast because you do get involved in a lot of other projects. And what are some things that you'd like to mention on the show before we?
Okay, next week, if anybody's near San Diego, I'm going to be speaking at Comic-Con, the big Comic-Con San Diego.
Nice.
On a panel. It's a witchcraft panel. It's called Witches After Dark, Witches of the East and West. Next Thursday night, I will be doing that. And then I'm home. August, not a lot of travel. I'm doing some stuff that I can't talk about yet. There's always the stuff you can't talk about.
Yeah.
End of August, I will be in Ohio doing really fun. It's a freak show tour. It's music. I'm doing a mediumship gallery. There's music, rock and roll. We're doing a paranormal at this cool old opera house in Sandusky, Ohio.
Nice.
Or in Connellsville, Ohio. And then it gets busy. Then I'm going to be at Maine Paranormal and Horror Con the first week in September. And again, Annabelle's going to be there. Then I'm going to Rock Island Roadhouse, and I don't think Annabelle might be there. And then I'm going to Midwest Paganonomicon, October. I'm doing Scarefest in Kentucky. I'm Vampire Ball in New Orleans for Halloween. I'm always in Vampire Ball in Halloween. So I'm all over the place. So that's why I make a little list of where I'm going. I put it on my website at pattinegri.com. Because that's why every week I teach magic lessons. I teach my dog classes. I also do my Where's Patty, because where am I? How many times I'm in a hotel what city am I in? What state am I in? What country?
I couldn't keep up. I would have to have an assistant like help me like with where I'm going, what interviews I'm doing, and like I produce everything on my show. I do everything myself, so that in itself is almost like a full-time job. I don't know how you do it.
Well, I do have help. I do have an assistant, but still, that stuff I have to do myself. I haven't figured out how to delegate that yet. So he helps me with the posting and doing all that kind of stuff. I
Right.
have somebody else who's helping with my social media. I have two producers helping with my podcast. I have a team,
Right.
but I'm still the one who's making plane trips.
Yeah.
So we do. We take care of our stuff, right?
That's it.
I'm gonna do it like you.
Yeah, I've been on networks before, but I decided I'm better on my own because I get to control my content. I get to decide who I'd like to have and invite as guests on my show or what topics, and I'm not strained to like a specific time frame or a specific day of the week. I control the scheduling. Like, I get to advertise wherever I get to advertise. I use the platform that I want to use, like, without anybody, like, saying anything. And, but what I did learn, like, a long time ago was, like, when I first started is we used to have a producer nitpick over every little audio that we did. So, like, if we had a little vibration in the background, it would get picked on. Or, like, my co-host at the time was like, oh, he sounds like he's in a tin can, and they called him Tin Can Tim. And, so, like, but those are things I learned, and, like, I've learned to become a better podcast host, like, with those things, and I just learned, to do better,
Yeah, that's what we learn as we go.
That's
what
it.
we
But
no, I don't know what it is, but I will learn.
yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate what I've learned more than I used to, and I think of everybody as my mentors. People have more experience than I do, so. But well, my one other question regarding your seances is one question that I do get a lot of when it comes to seances. That's one of your expertises of area of expertise is when you do a seance. What would the ideal setting be for the seance in order to be a successful seance? Like, what are some of the things that you would need in order to go about it? Like, what objects would you need? Like, you need an item from that deceased person. What would help the success of a seance?
I rarely get that, but that's a lovely thing. For me to have a seance, we have to be in a circle or an oblong, round, because I do seances and I do mediumship galleries and I lift the veil differently. I'm known for lifting the veil. To me, a gallery is I'm on stage or standing this way, and then everybody's in seats, like theater seats, facing me. The energy is completely different than we're all in a circle, whether we're around my dining room table with 8 people or 13 people, or I've had up to 60 people and still called it a seance because we were in a circle, even though we didn't have a table around us. We don't need that. What I would like to have, and I've done it with everything or nothing, is a candle. If I could burn incense, I have incense. I have bells. I have chimes. I will have dowsing rods or light up dowsing rods because, again, people can talk through that. I have my little talking, if I want to get electronic, my little talking crystal balls, which are like Ovilus. Some people like that. Some people don't. Some is old school all the way. It just comes through me. If the people are comfortable with it, I will have a Ouija board. If they're not comfortable with it, we won't. It's not worth it. As much as a Ouija board, like writing planchettes where it's a pen or a chalk in the planchette.
Okay, yeah.
Love that. Because I think writing goes out the door with death. Nobody can spell anymore. And a lot of ghosts don't even write English or speak English. This is old from France. But they can draw and they can. So I've had, with the planchette that does a pen, I've had a perfect Virgin Mary drawn.
Nice.
I've had a rat. I've had the boat and all sorts, writing in different languages. So I love that. And it doesn't scare people as much as a Ouija board. We made the Ouija board scary. Hollywood made that scary. I mean, it was just a tool. To me, if you're willing to use a pendulum or a dowsing rod, to me, a Ouija board is no different, except for the energy we put upon it. You don't go anybody out there, anybody? No, you only high vibrations, positive spirits with a good message. You don't let anybody in your home. But that's it. I've done literally with nothing. Sit around. If you can have some form of darkness, you're going to see things. You're going to see the orbs and spirits better. But they're there in the daytime too. We could just sit around, you and me, and we're in a seance in a circle.
Yeah.
But if I could have my bells and whistles, I will have my bells and whistles. I do like burning incense. I do like my candles. I do like things for the spirits to talk through, like candles. Make the red candle dance. Make the blue candle do this.
Wait, one of the things I noticed that, I don't know about you personally, but like on investigations, I've been trying to use lighting a lot more, like ultraviolet light, black light, infrared, pure infrared. I've been using different lamps on an investigation, and I've noticed it has helped induce communication.
Yeah, I think there is a new trend in having a little bit more light, whether filming or not. And even the Winchester Mystery House, the one we were talking about, when we were doing that one segment, we had to put on glasses. It was ultraviolet light or something like that Aaron was using. It's supposed to call in spirits. And that's when we got that Polaroid with all the crazy electricity coming out. That was cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is something to different kinds of lighting and what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. We have another question in the chat. I want to not overlook that. Do you think dreams can be visiting other realms on Earth?
Of course. Yeah. Yes, we do. Yeah, dreaming is an amazing. Dreaming, we could do lots of kind of dreaming. Sometimes it's just our body needs to dream. Humans dream, we download the computer in our brain. Sometimes they could be prolific dreams. Sometimes they could be dreams of things that are going to happen. Sometimes they could be lucid dreams, stepping into dreams. Sometimes we travel. Astral travel sometimes is disguised as a dream. One thing I do know, how everybody worries about, oh, it's sleep paralysis. I can't move. And that happens. Sometimes it really is a medical condition, that sleep paralysis. You can't move. It's just your muscles and things, and you can't. It'll come back in a minute. Sometimes it is a ghost sitting on you. Sometimes, but the other thing, if you have that sleep paralysis, that's also the easiest way to learn how to astral travel. Even though you can't literally move, picture your body rolling to the side, and you could leave your body. It's a really good practice while you're I can't move, to practice that. So yeah, I do a lot with dream work. In my book, my Old World Magic book, I talk about what's dream school. Water is a conduit. We know that. All that science, like if you're mean by water, it freezes weird. If you're loving by water is chargeable. So put a glass, preferably glass, not plastic, glass of water by the side of the bed, and say dream school. Whether you talk to God or your guide, say, I want to talk to my spirit guides, or I want to talk to dead grandma, or what outfit should I wear tomorrow, or what is the meaning of life. You are literally giving the universe permission to download you in dreams or in downloads, and you will have an amazing dream life. If you do that, I always say, set your alarm for 10 minutes before you have to really get up. Set the alarm, you go, I have to get up. I don't have to get up. Hit the snooze button and go, give me clarity, focus, and direction for today. Go back to sleep for 10 minutes. You're still in a different brainwave state. And when you wake up, grab a pen and you'll have focus, clarity, and direction, whatever you ask for. Write down remember any dreams, write it down, or emotions. Don't censor yourself, write anything. Patty is stupid. I don't know what she's talking about. Doesn't matter. You'll be surprised what comes out. So yeah, and that is just, it's like a battery charge for your dreams. It's a glass of water. Throw out the water in the morning. Don't drink water by your bed. That's why it tastes so bad in the morning. It collects everything, unless it's in a really sealed thing, or a bottle is sealed, then you could drink it by the bed. But your dream school water, or if you have insomnia, you can't sleep, put a glass of water and charge everything that keeps you awake. Instead goes into that glass of water, sleep water. If you have pain or chronic pain, you could have pain waters that just charge that all my pain instead goes into that glass of water. You throw them out in the morning. It's water is like the most miraculous ingredient. We are made out of 70+% water, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Earth is like covered in how much percentage of water, and before,
70+%, yeah.
yeah. So like, you know, when Earth was created and born, like most of it was water.
And think about us being 70% water. That's huge. We're all water up to here. It's like amazing.
Yeah, my lights went out. That's why you. Now I look different. There we go.
Yeah.
Bear with me, guys. My lights turned down on me. That's the spirits. Messing with my lights.
They get mischievous.
Yeah.
They do.
I use believe it or not, I use a green screen, and the lights make a big difference. I don't know if you ever worked with a green screen before, but
Not at home, but I have worked on sets and stuff.
yeah. So my apologies for that, guys. So all right. Well, speaking of dreams, before I forget real quick, I want to tell a funny thing that happened to me during one of my dreams. So I don't know if anybody's heard of lucid dreaming. I was having a lucid dream state one night, and I thought I saw a big Asian beetle hanging on my windowsill on the side of my bed where I sleep in my bedroom. And this thing was like huge, and let me tell you, even though I'm a grown man, I hate bugs. Like I just hate them. I think they're gross. And when I saw this huge Asian beetle, I thought the lights were on, and I saw it clear as day. And you know, with what I seen, I thought it was real. And I'm like freaking out because my wife is also afraid of bugs. She's more afraid of them than I am. And I said to myself, oh, she sees this thing, she's going to freak out. I better find it. I better kill it, get rid of it, whatever. And I'm like, I get up. And when I get up, I lose sight of it. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, where did it go? I'm like looking. I get up and I like wreck the whole bedroom. And my wife is waking up going, what are you doing? And it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. And like, you know, she's dead in her sleep. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to tell her. Do I tell her? Do I not tell her? So I'm like, I seen this huge Asian bug in the bedroom. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you know, I start telling her about it, and she's like, Matt, I think you were dreaming. And I'm like, she's like, were the lights on or off? Because like, you know, when I had gotten up, the lights were off, and that's how at that point I realized that I was in that lucid dream state.
Yeah. And it was a beetle, you said?
An Asian, yeah, like those big black beetles with the long antenna.
Yeah, it was probably like some reincarnation thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, with spirit realm beetle.
Yeah, and it's not the first time I've had that experience. Like I've had other experiences too, and it's like I can now kind of like decipher the difference between, you know, the lucid and what's real, not like.
No, I'm not good at lucid dreaming now, like controlling it, knowing in a dream. But when I was a kid, I was an expert because I had night terrors. I had always seeing spirit. Crazy bad dreams. But I would be in a dream and I know, oh, I am in a dream. I know how to get out of it. And it literally was like a choreographed gymnastic routine. I have to do 3 somersaults, do a backflip, go into a trash can, go through a tunnel. And I would always find to do it, and I would always be able to get out of a dream. I wish I could do that now. I've seemed to have lost that little gift.
Yeah, yeah.
I always go, oh, this is a dream. I know this is a dream.
And I don't like flying, but in my dreams I always feel like I have a lot of dreams where I'm flying, and it's like I don't like to fly, so why am I dreaming that I'm flying?
Yeah, I mean that's supposed to mean something. I forget what.
Yeah.
I used to study dream work because just enough to be dangerous. Because you could do Freudian dream work, you could do Jungian dream work, you could do, you know, spiritual dream work, you could do all of the above. But yeah.
Nice. Nice. So we have like, I can't believe the show is almost over. I want to make sure that Patti gets all her info out there. Where can the audience and fans and followers follow all of your work? I know it's pattinegri.com, I believe, is your website, right? Anything else you?
And get there, and you can get to all my legitimate social media and you can get to my YouTube page and lots of free classes and free everything. You can get to my podcast. The video version of my podcast is on my YouTube /pattinegri.com. The audio of my witching hour is available everywhere. My Instagram is patti.negri. It's the blue verified check, patti.negri, because there's a bunch of fake ones. On my Facebook is Patti Negri Psychic Medium. It's the blue check one. I cannot go on Facebook since I got hacked. I post on it. It's so weird. I can post on it from Instagram Meta. I post on it every day, many times. But I can't go look at Facebook. I've hired people to help me. I've talked to Meta. Nobody can help me. Patti Negri on X and Threads and TikTok. There's some weird fake Patties on TikTok, and I'm not verified on TikTok for some reason, but you could figure out the real one, I think.
Yeah, we know who's the real Patti versus the not real Patti.
I don't know. I had a fake me. Somebody did a deep fake of me talking.
Oh no.
Yeah, hi, this is Patti, and I kept saying, "You can trust me." Not words I had ever said. It was my face, my voice. Somebody found it posted. I got it down pretty fast, but that's really violating.
Oh yeah, totally.
Now that's easy to do with AI. It's
easy. AI, yeah, I know. My wife is scared of AI. She hates it.
I love it, but it's a little scary.
Yeah, it is totally. So, so any advice you'd like to give to our audience and fans of the paranormal, or just fans in general? I always like to allow my guests to have free reign of whatever you like to say before I end the show. So feel free to give our audience a good farewell.
About power. You have the power. You have the power to live the life you live. You have power over your health. You have power over your happiness, your money, all of it. And if you don't have the power, figure out who or what you gave it away to. Did you give it away to fear? Did you give it away to another person? Usually we give it away to just a limiting belief system. Take it back, and then you could have the life you want. So again, do please like me, follow me. We just need to do all that. I've got lots of good projects coming up. I'm traveling everywhere. If you like paranormal, which we all do, check out my network, Paraflix Network. We started that about 5 years ago. We have all sorts. If you've seen everything on, Discovery and Travel Channel and everywhere else, there's a bunch of new shows you haven't seen on Paraflix. If you're interested in learning, I have paranormal investigators teaching things by 20 teachers. Check out my school, University Magicus. Again, you can find everything from pattinegri.com. But more than anything, and make your life full. Whatever comes next, and there's something comes next, and there's going to be a million different things. Live in the now. This is it, you guys. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you have more money. Don't wait until you get older or younger or richer or poorer or thinner or fatter. Just do it. Just do it.
I love that. That is the most.
With everything, crank it up to 11.
Yeah, I absolutely 100%. With everything going on in the world today, there's enough negative crap out there going on, and it's scary. It's scary times. I totally agree with her 100%. Live in the now. You want as little regrets as possible, and learn what you can learn. If there was something you wanted to learn that you never learned, learn it, because you only live once, right? We're only here one time. Well, I mean, we know there's
a bunch of times, but we can't remember them, so it doesn't count.
Although I like to think that there's a whole nother life, in the spiritual world, but we don't know that yet until we get there.
Right. And then we always forget. So, live in the now.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget what you are now. You're going to carry yourself over how you are now to wherever it is you go after. So think of it that way too. So, Patti, it's been great. I can't believe 2 hours went by so fast. I wish I could do a whole day with you.
Well, thank you. You're a great host. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, everybody, for listening, watching, now and later, whoever that is. I
Yeah, no,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Any new followers we can gain on both sides. Thank you to everybody. And Patty, if you want to stay on while I end the show, we'll say our goodbyes privately if you don't mind. So, all right, good. We're gonna take care, everybody, and have a great night, guys. Next week, we're gonna have a guest. Next week, we're gonna discuss the Revolutionary War and George Washington inspiring with Bill Blyer. He's a historian that wrote a book about George Washington and the Revolutionary War inspiring that took place right here on Long Island, and he has a really cool book about it. And there's a lot of misinformation about George Washington and the Spiring, because there was a show Turn. It was a great show. It was on History Channel, but there's a lot of things in the show that were not factual, just the characters. So I hope we educate people on what happened during the Spiring here on Long Island. So we're gonna get into that next week. So hope you guys tune in. That's our guest next week. So guys, have a great night, and I'm gonna go ahead and play our intro here.